Good afternoon, everybody. Today is February 6th, 2026. And wow, talk about excitement, to talk about volatility up and down. It's been a wild past week. And it's so important to talk about precious metals. And if we're going to do it, we absolutely have to have Andrew Sorchini on. So, Andrew, welcome back.
Hey, Bo, glad to be back. This is the biggest roller coaster we've seen since 2011, and it might be the biggest one ever.
Let's go back in history on our podcast, just kind of rehash a couple of things. Number one was from our prior videos, we talked about price levels and 121 being a very critical price. Okay. We also talked about specifically about a date, and that date was specifically last Friday, and that was the 30th of January. Okay. So both were important. So in January, we could have seen a price jump vertically, and it could have really gone through 121, but guess what? It failed. And so what ended up happening was the time ran out. And so, man, it was wild. We all watched it together. On this last Friday, the 30th of January, we witnessed the greatest one-day price plunge on silver in human history, right, Andrew?
Yeah, absolutely. It was. We saw it on Friday of last week. I think we ended up. I think we were down like 30% on the day, and at one point silver was down $40 an ounce, and it's been resilient. It's been fighting back, and we're still up on the year.
So last podcast we did was in the last week of January, and we were talking about silver moving vertical. We had a line here, a black solid line, which takes us back to 1980. I'll show that chart in a few minutes. But basically, the top came in, and this is incredible. The cycle chart that we drew out, Andrew, we literally had the number 121 for the past 3-4 months on our podcast. Okay. There was a chance that it could have gone through 121 and gone to 140, but because it failed and time ran out, we witnessed the greatest one-day plunge. Look at this, complete, utter collapse. And by Monday, it dropped all the way down to $71.50. It bounced up for 2 days, and then yesterday, the 5th of February, it dropped back down to 72, and in this overnight, it made a low of $64.10. Now, why is it important that we do a podcast today? Because Andrew and I have been talking about silver and gold exploding, okay? Please, everybody, listen so closely. We haven't seen an explosion yet, okay? Why I say that is because we literally saw, with our own eyes, silver collapse $40 in a single day, okay? That was to the downside. We haven't seen the opposite yet. We haven't seen a silver explosion. And I'm telling you, now that we've got the charts and what specifically that number of $121, that becomes the roof. And how many times have we talked about roofs before, Andrew? Remember? $30 roof, that was forever, 35, 40. Actually, we even had a $25 roof. Talk about roofs, Andrew, and what happens when a roof gets ripped off.
Yeah, the roof doesn't get ripped off usually the first or second time. It usually takes a little bit. So that's when it doesn't matter if it's stocks, if it's gold or silver, or if it's even cryptocurrency. There's always a ceiling. And there's always a support level, and that ceiling is also referred to as a resistance. So with silver, people can go back and watch our past interviews or any of the other interviews you've been on. That $121 has been talked about for a long time. That's the price for 1 ounce of silver. You said it would get to there before silver even broke $100 an ounce. And that's exactly where it topped out at. It could not break through. So it might take 1 or 2 more times of hitting 121 before it can shoot past that. If it shoots past that, silver could end up breaking out past $150 an ounce or even further. But the best part about it breaking out later and getting through that ceiling after 2 or 3 tries is that those advances in spot price tend to hold better than the one that we saw that collapsed last week. but silver hasn't gone back down to $50. It's not even broke down below 50. So it looks like we're going to have a chance to test that ceiling again. And I really love that people are piling into silver on a Friday. They're not selling going into the weekend like they were last weekend. They were running scared. This week, they're confident, and people are getting into their positions to begin next week. So I'm hopeful for a great week next week.
This is the 45-year chart on silver. Okay, so this is what we're talking about. When you look at this chart, now there's nothing new about this. Andrew and I have been honest, and we've been showing this chart to everybody for the past months, probably 6 months, whatever it's been, okay? On the left here, this is the Hunt Brothers spike to $48. Very important, because that creates a very important pattern. You'll see right here at $49 in the year 2011, $49.83. That was the middle line. And then we drop it down to the bottom here, which was in March of year 2020. So there is your channel. Remember I said you take a channel on silver and you tilt it. Okay, so we tilt it. And what you end up seeing is when you tilt that pattern, it ends up showing up that we said once it took out $71.50, that was the Christmas breakout, December 25. Andrew, it exploded like crazy. It went, and remember, now it's like $5 moves are like no big deal. But we saw the greatest move in history out on Christmas Day of $7 and change. We've never seen a move like that. And now we like laugh about those moves because the prices are moving so crazy. But it did, and we said that 121 will become a magnet. That's what happened. 121 became a magnet. It didn't break through, and it got to $121, and it literally plunged, like you said, $40 last Friday, okay? And now we got a battle going on. But here's the thing, okay? The prophecy is very specific about silver. So please, everybody, listen. You can do what you want, okay? Choices are personal, okay? It's called the free will. You can do what you want, okay? But Andrew and I have been categorically stating silver is going to blow through $50. We were right. We were right. It's not a matter of the glory for it. It's about we personally wanted it to happen. We knew it was going to happen. And at the same time, we wanted to advise our viewers, at least if they're watching, if they wanted to do something about it, you had an opportunity to reach out to Andrew. I know many people did, and I've been hearing all the stories that Andrew's been telling us about, the success stories. But here's the thing, okay? Now we had it bounce off $121. It's on sale right now. Let me repeat that. Silver is on sale right now. Let me say it a third time. Silver is on sale right now. And then we finish it with, this is the final sale, okay? This is the final sale before it aggressively begins to move vertical. This time around, there's a huge probability it's going to take out $121. And then once it does that, understand the next immediate target says 140. But the problem with people thinking it's going to go down is once it takes that $121 from a charting standpoint, it's called blue skies. Let me repeat that. Blue skies. The sky's the limit. And that's going to start taking us to numbers that Andrew and I have spoken of, 200, 300. And this is just not opinion anymore, because who is saying those numbers as well, too? It's just not us anymore. It's now mainstream media. Is it not, Andrew? What's mainstream media now saying as it was working its way up to $100?
The mainstream media now, Bank of America has been quoted as saying that silver could go anywhere from $135 an ounce to like $309 an ounce for over the course of this year, 2026. I mean, we're starting to see like banks being reported with these really, really high estimates of where it could be. You're starting to hear $200, $300, $400 an ounce silver. And it's everywhere. It's high. Like silver's selling out everywhere. So we were talking about before that people needed to get involved before the herd came. Well, the herd's starting to come. We can see it, but it's not here yet. So there's still a lot of time to get in.
So with that said, because this is a very important question, if somebody reaches out to you, because I'm hearing stories that a lot of dealers are on this price drop, have sold out of a lot of inventory. So has that happened to you? Are you still able to source silver? Because again, with the drop, again, I've seen some YouTube videos of some smaller dealers, okay, smaller, but they literally have sold out of their inventory. So what are you seeing on your end? Just because I know you deal with larger volumes, Andrew.
Yeah, it's what I'm seeing is that the little guys, like the mom and pop shops that you might see in your town on Main Street, they've bought silver and gold at certain levels. And when you see a drop like how you saw last Friday, they just have to say that they don't have it available anymore. They've got it, it's tucked away in their safe, but they can't sell it because they'd have to sell it for far less than what they could have sold it for a week ago. So then they have to rely solely on what walks into their door and literally gets sold to them face to face. And it takes more than a week for them to obtain enough of an inventory to be able to sell stuff. So people come in and they're like, "Hey, I'm sold out of silver. I don't have anything right now." But for companies like us, a lot of us are hedging our inventory with where we're not sticking it out there where a day like Friday can hurt our inventory. So we just adjust the prices and sell at the current rate. And I'm starting to see things like Silver Eagles. That market is very stressed. If you look around the premiums on those, I've seen some of the discount dealers out there minimum $20 an ounce over spot on a Silver Eagle, which you mentioned before, Bo, so many times over the last couple of years that silver will eventually get to a certain point to where the premiums could end up being 50% of the spot value. And if that's what it's selling for, then there's no way around it. Even China right now has created their own spot market where they're trading unofficially at like an $8 to $15 an ounce higher spot price than we are, because it doesn't make sense that the paper silver market trades on the same spot price that the physical silver market does, because the paper silver market is so oversold in the number of ounces that people invest in. The same people own the same ounces like many times over. Where if you have an ounce of silver, you own that ounce and nobody else owns any part of it. So really, I think the premiums are going to really blast off along with the spot price. And that's good for people that already have silver, because that gives them a second chance to be able to increase their portfolio value.
And also what we've said, in a bull market, the first coin that becomes extremely difficult to get and then very quickly sells out are the Silver Eagles. Okay.
Yeah.
And that just gives an indication of what's happening. And right now, as Andrew's saying, things are getting very tight, and it's actually good you can still get some. But even if you can't get a Silver Eagle, I'm also hearing that 100-ounce bars are sold out in a lot of places. They're extremely difficult to get now, 100-ounce bars. What are you hearing on that, on the 100-ounce bars? Those would be like a bigger purchase. Are the 10-ounce bars and 100-ounce bars available, or are those getting very difficult and tight as well too?
Yeah, I've had the 10-ounce bars removed from the price sheet of what we offer for probably 4 weeks now, because the 10-ounce bars are the new 100-ounce bars. Because back in the day when silver was about $13 an ounce, a 100-ounce bar costs about $1,300. Well, it got to the point now where a 10-ounce bar was actually going for that last week. So those have been selling out like crazy. We did a transaction with a gentleman yesterday that right before I jumped on this interview, he asked me to call him because he wanted me to go over the invoice with him, because he felt like the 100-ounce silver bars that he bought were too expensive. And yeah, compared to what they were months ago, you could say that, but that's just the market that we're in. The premiums are starting to go higher. It's exactly like you said. Once the Silver Eagle premiums start to go higher, then people move away from those and they go for the next best thing or the next best thing. And I reference that going back to November 2022, when silver dropped down to $18 an ounce. Actually, it was $18.50. And I remember you and I did an interview, and right after the interview, my phone rang. It was you, and you said, I want to buy silver Philharmonics, which normally you want Silver Eagles. But at that time, Silver Eagles at some places had 100% markup. So actually, it's 100% premium, not a markup. The markup is a tiny part within the premium that the dealer makes. But it was 100% premium. It would cost you $36.50 to get 1 ounce of silver, one Silver Eagle. So you avoided that. You sidestepped that. I think at the time you got silver Philharmonics for about $4 or $4.50 an ounce over spot, which at that time would have been about a 30% premium, which, 30% right now sounds like the most ridiculous premium ever, but it's not any different now. For most of the other metals, they're going to be in the 20 to 30%, depending on what type you're looking at. There might be some that you can get for less. Maybe the dealer has had that in their inventory for a while. Like for us, we mint our own coins. I've got a lot of General Flynn 2-ounce silver coins that we've had for months now, part of a minting that we'd done, a very large one. So we're up on the spot price on that. And we've been able to give people better deals on those. But it really just depends. Some premiums are higher than others. But if you wait long enough, and once that herd gets here, and once silver breaks through $121 an ounce, the premiums will go higher, and people should be ready for that.
Again, you referenced November of 2020. I remember that, and it was, an incredible opportunity to pick up. At the same time, I have to reference, because when that event happened, all the bullion dealers across North America, at least that I'm aware of, were having issues getting silver because the herd came in and they were buying it up on the cheap, Right now is a very great similar type example, because it went up to $121. At that time, understand just a few months earlier, it was at $29 and it collapsed to $13 and change. So what happened this time? Same thing, $121. The ratio is about the same. It dropped down to $67 or $64 early this morning. Same type of ratio. Let that sink in, $29 down to 13, 121 down to 65, nearly same ratio. This is the final opportunity. Whether people want to do anything about it, this is not a call to do something. This is a call to tell you about two things. Number one, a call to action if you're listening, to what I and prophecy is saying, The Lord revealed to me the cycle pattern that silver is turning up today. Today is the 6th of February. It's turning up, and this turn is the final turn. In other words, the drop was the final sale. So what I'm telling you is that this is a final opportunity, whether you want to do something about it or not. Again, everything in life is free will, personal choice, But I will tell you that of the dealers that I bought from for the past 3-4 years now, Andrew's the only dealer that I use. Why? Because he delivers lightning fast. And I'm telling you right now, what you want is lightning fast, just because things are moving so quickly. And when the price starts to accelerate here, it's going to be very difficult to acquire metal, particularly silver, We're seeing it squeeze right now on what? On the Eagles. The 10-ounce bars are pretty much gone, and the 100-ounce bars are getting difficult to source right now. Andrew, finish out. How can people find you if they want to reach out to you? Also, I think another thing we always want to discuss is the 401ks and IRAs, because people need to understand if you've got a 401k and an IRA and you don't have precious metals, meaning hard assets that you can physically go drive or fly over to see, you don't hold silver and gold. So explain hard assets and a 401k and an IRA. And also, if anybody wants to reach out to you directly, Andrew, what's the best way that they can find you and reach out to you?
Yeah, so I think the biggest way that we've been able to help people diversify their portfolios to hold physical gold and silver is through 401ks or IRAs or most pensions. They can be rolled into a precious metals IRA. And this is something that your financial advisor can't offer you, because financial advisors, like if you're with Fisher Investments or if you're with Fidelity or if you're with JP Morgan Chase, they cannot offer you physical gold and silver. They can only offer you paper gold and silver. And paper gold and silver don't help you in an emergency. And most people want to own physical gold and silver because it's portable wealth. It can help. It's a hedge against inflation. It's cash available in an emergency situation, and you can roll over your IRA into a precious metals IRA. It holds real gold and silver that if you really needed to, you could have it sent to you. If you have it sent to you, that's a distribution, and that does have a tax consequence. So instead, it's stored in a third-party facility. It's Delaware Depository, and that's where we keep a lot of our inventory. It's a really safe thing that we've assisted literally thousands of people. We've got about $1.5 billion under management just for precious metals IRAs alone, and it's something like 4,500 plus clients. And we've really got it down to where the support for people that need to take distributions. We help with your annual distribution. If you just need to take some cash out of it, we assist you with all that stuff. So really, all you need to do is just reach out to us and ask how it works. And you can do that by scheduling a consultation right on our website. It's bh-pm.com. And almost every page has that form there with the little red button down at the bottom. Just put in your name, email address, phone number, and say that Bo Polny sent you, or Bo sent me, or Gold Forecast 2020. And in the notes section, just be as detailed as you can. If you're interested in learning how to convert your retirement to hold real gold and silver, then put that in the notes section. If you're like Bo and you add to your silver holdings all the time and really don't need a consultation but want to talk to us about what we have available, then just say that in there. And other people will say things like, I have an annuity. Can that be rolled into something that can hold gold and silver? Or people will reach out really with just about anything. Like, I'm a complete beginner, I'm a newbie, so please be patient with me, but I do have questions before I can even make a decision. That's fine. Just be as detailed as you can. I've got a whole team of people that will reach out to you in 24 to 48 hours and go over everything with you. We don't try to bully you into it. This is just getting you the education necessary so that you could do what so many other people have done and protect everything they've worked their lives for and really be a good steward of what you've been blessed with. And that's what we're hoping to do, is just help more people. We've changed people's lives by doing these interviews together, Bo. I talk to people every day, different success stories, and we've literally changed people's lives, and we hope to keep doing it.
Thanks, Andrew. We've had so many success stories. I'm at a conference this weekend, and again, people are just constantly saying, thank you for getting me into silver and having me understand finance. So I'll finish on this. Cycles indicate silver is about to reverse and take off. The cycle indicates this was the final sale. Prophecy indicates and confirms this was the final sale. So in closing, again, always free will. People have the option to do what they want, but I just wanted to always make Andrew available to everybody. There's a lot of dealers in the world, but like I always say, if you're going to send money to anybody, make sure your precious metals arrive super quick. Why? Because the most uncomfortable time of any transaction is the moment you put an order in for a precious metals, you send the wire, and you don't have metals and you don't have the wire.
Yeah.
You don't have the money, okay? And so what you want is the smallest window when those things arrive at your doorstep or at the depository. But again, you want somebody who's very talented in what they do. So I want to thank you, Andrew, for your talents and what you've been doing, with your business all these years, and all the happy people that have used you. So thank you, Andrew. And any last words? Go ahead.
It's my pleasure. It's something that, what started off as a job many years ago has turned into something that's really helped people. And it's a lot of fun talking to the people. I had someone call me yesterday that wanted to add to their portfolio in their IRA. And it gave me a chance to review their holdings for the first time in a couple of years. And they'd almost tripled their money in there. So it's not too late. Reach out soon, because there's still product available and you would be buying the dip. It's always wise to buy the dip.
Thanks, Andrew. God bless. Have a blessed day.